Hello and welcome. My name is Anuska and welcome to this week's video, which is all about how we really speak with impact. And I would like to offer today that when we speak from the heart, that's how we really, truly make the greatest impact when we speak. And speaking from the heart is more than just a cliche. So I want to talk a little bit more about that today, how that shows up, and also offer a little challenge for you at the end if you'd like to participate, and you can let me know how you go at the end. So, how many of us, when we speak, feel like we've got to do it all perfectly? We're so concerned with impressing people with our knowledge, with our expertise, with our facts and our figures. I've got to explain this correctly, otherwise people think I don't know what I'm talking about. Got to make sure I get the right word, otherwise people think I don't know what I'm talking about. So we're very, very, very concerned about having everything perfect, quote unquote. Now, the problem with that, of course, is we are completely in our head. So we're either memorizing lots of facts, so we're in our head, or we are reading off cards, scripts, slides. In some shape or form, we're not connected to our audience. We're too busy thinking about what I'm saying and coming across perfectly. Now, we all do this to a greater or lesser extent. It's something that I've been working on a lot with myself over the last few years, particularly. And for myself personally, I've been trying to do more live streams because I find I'm more fluent, ironically, but then there is no editing. It just comes out how it comes out. And I actually really enjoy doing them. Sometimes not always feasible. Sometimes I do have to do pre-recorded videos. But the other part of this too is when you are doing videos, perhaps for someone like myself that creates content, do you over-record them? Do you record it like 20 times? You know, it's never good enough. It's not quite perfect. Let me just do another iteration. And you maybe feel like you stumble over your words, you don't know what you're talking about, and you're completely in your head. Then when you do get a video, you kind of over-edit it. You know, it's like edited within an inch of its life. So we're just taking away any kind of real connection to our audience because we're so in our head that our audience feels it. And I love this quote from Kyle Cease. And I'm just going to read the quote actually just to make sure I get it correct. So people listen to you from the same place you speak from. And this is this idea. If we are in our head when we're presenting, our audience are going to be listening to us in their head. And so what we will find is they're not really going to connect to us. They might listen to the facts and figures that we're sharing, but they're not going to emotionally connect to us. They're not going to think, wow, that person was so engaging to listen to. That person was so compelling. I had to listen to them. We just might think, oh yeah, that was kind of okay, but there's no real connection. The other thing, of course, is the audience is just a mirror for us. So, you know, we may find if we're in our head and we're being very overly critical about everything we're saying, that our audience might be overly critical. We might perceive more criticism coming from the audience. Maybe they're asking more difficult questions or they're writing comments under our videos. So the energy with which we show up to do our speaking, we're going to get back from the audience because everything is a reflection of us. I know we don't like to know that. The ego doesn't like that, but that is the truth. So when we can show up in our heart, we are going to connect in a deeper way with our audience. I've seen this very much night and day, certainly as a singer. I have spent my whole life pretty much having singing lessons, voice training, vocal technique, everything about vocal technique, vocal function. You should do this, you shouldn't do this. If you want to hit that note, you need to do this. You shouldn't be going breathy, you shouldn't be straining, you shouldn't be squeezing, all of these shoulds and shouldn'ts. So I found in the early days when I used to perform that I was so totally in my head when I sang, I was not connected to what I was singing at all. And so, yes, I might hit the note perfectly, and the audience might be like, oh yeah, she's got a nice voice, but they didn't connect to me. They didn't feel me when I was singing. And over the last few years, particularly since I have been writing my own music and performing that, and having the courage to really step into my true soul and my heart when I'm singing, I've had a completely different reaction from people when they come and watch me perform. And they feel it, and they feel the emotion in my voice because I am fully present when I'm singing. I'm not thinking anymore about how do I hit that note. Must make sure I do that bit perfectly, otherwise people will think I can't sing. And so all of that used to go through my head, which was crazy when I was singing. No wonder no one was connecting to me. So that's just an example from my own life. But what I am saying is that, when I'm performing, I absolutely am preparing. I'm preparing my voice. I'm training my voice. I'm making sure I know my material inside out. But then as soon as I'm in front of an audience, I let go. I'm completely connected to what I'm singing. And that's the only thing that matters. And that's what I'm offering for you today. When you actually stand in front of an audience and speak, you do your preparation, you do your research, you do your homework, you do whatever you need to do. You prepare your voice, you warm your voice up, you do your exercises, and then you speak, but you speak from the heart. And I promise you, the audience will connect to you in a way that they just cannot connect to you if you're in your head. So when we're in our head, we are really letting our ego mind, that kind of monkey mind, that chatter mind, run the show. It's all about what will other people think of me? And I've got to make sure I do this perfectly so I'm not criticized, I'm not ridiculed, I'm not rejected. People don't think I don't know what I'm talking about. So I've got to be perfect. And it puts an enormous amount of pressure on us. So not only does our audience not really connect to us, but also it actually creates the anxiety that most people feel when they're going to speak in public. According to research, public speaking is a fate worse than death for most people. And I believe that anxiety is driven because most people are completely in their head when they are speaking. And they think that being in their head is actually safer. If I'm in quote unquote control, then it's safer, and then I'm less likely to be rejected. I'm offering that it's actually the opposite, that actually when you're in your head, you're more likely to be rejected because you are, in a way, sort of pushing the audience away. They cannot feel you, they cannot connect to you. And the truth is nowadays as well, we can get all the facts we want. I mean, there are millions of videos on YouTube. So what makes you watch one person over another? What makes you listen to one person over another person? It's normally not about the content. It's normally about the delivery of the content. And I know from my own world, the things that I listen to, I follow similar kinds of people that share similar content, but there's people that I actually can listen to because I really can feel their energy when they're speaking. And there's people, yes, factually, they've got the information there, but it's almost like they're just in a sort of robotic autopilot. And so there's no real connection to the words. They're just saying the words. There's no emotional connection to anything. And as human beings, we're really seeking that connection when we listen to people speak. We can buy books. We can pretty much find any information we want on the internet. So that's not what we're seeking. We're seeking that connection. We're seeking that emotional connection. We want to feel people when they're speaking. And actually, ironically, when we do, we hear people in a much deeper way than when they're just regurgitating facts at us. The other thing when we're speaking from the heart is we are really in a state of flow. And you might have heard about that before. Certainly as a musician, when I'm talking about singing, when I'm completely connected to my heart, I'm in a flow state. I'm not even really aware of what's going on around me because I'm so connected to my heart when I'm singing. And that's really where you want to be when you're speaking, that you're just in this flow state. There's an ease, there's a calmness. And then you don't have all this anxiety. And the irony is you will remember the information that you need to remember, because you're in a state of calm versus I've got to remember everything and I must make sure I don't forget to say that. Otherwise people think I don't know what I'm talking about. And I must make sure I don't forget to say that bit. And that's where we can often be, which actually just creates this disconnect. So my challenge for you, if you are someone that resonates with this, and probably for a lot of people you do, I challenge you to, next time you speak, to do all the preparation, to do your research, to do your homework, to prepare your voice, and then turn up without any notes. Ugh, I know, sounds terrifying. Turn up without any notes and allow yourself to connect to your heart when you speak. And I think if you have the courage to do this, you will actually find you speak better, and your audience will actually hear you in a whole new way, and they will want to listen to you. If you are someone that doesn't do any public speaking in public, as in person, and you're someone that does videos like myself or a podcast, I also challenge you to not edit the video. Perhaps you can like top and tail it, but not over edit it. Try and do it in one take. Or if you're feeling really brave, just to start doing some live streams. Just start doing things which you can't edit and notice what happens. Because I have personally found that the more I have the courage to just speak from my heart, the better I speak. The more fluently I speak, the more engaging I think I speak. And actually, you'll be surprised at what you remember, because you are actually in a calmer state. So you can actually remember things that you need to remember. It's all the anxiety that we feel that actually blocks us from remembering information, which is why we think we need the notes in the first place. So that's my challenge to you. I'd love to know what you think. If this resonates with you, please do put some comments below. If you try this out, if you're someone that normally has to have everything perfect and has to over edit things, or has to have loads of notes in front of you when you're speaking, I really challenge you not to, and see what happens. And just notice how much more engaged your audience are and how much more fluently you speak. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, share, subscribe, and let me know if you have any topics you'd like me to cover. If not, I will see you next week. Have a wonderful week.